Hello, English 100. This is your last video before the rough draft of Essay 2. So in this video, I'm going to tell you what I expect for the rough draft and some tips for you. So I hope you find it helpful. All right, so here's the essay assignment. The only thing about the rough draft is right here. A rough draft and outline are required. The draft should be about 5 pages long, typed and double-spaced. You will get feedback and then have 1 week to revise. Now let's go to Canvas. So our schedule for week 10 is different. So instead of homework Tuesday and then the module Thursday, we have it reversed. You are going to do the module by Tuesday, and then the only thing due Thursday is the rough draft. So everything in week 10 is designed to help you with the rough draft, which is our big assignment. So due Tuesday, October 27, you'll watch the videos for week 10. You'll read and do everything in the week 10 module. And you'll submit your pre-writing work, thesis plus outline plus 1 body paragraph. So that's for Tuesday. And then Thursday, October 29, the rough draft of Essay 2 is due. So here's where I get to what I expect for the rough draft. First, it's really important that you've done all the pre-writing work so that you're not writing the rough draft off the top of your head, which doesn't go very well. Okay, so the rough draft, here's what I expect. About 5 pages. Double-spaced, 12-point font, 1-inch margins, an introduction paragraph with your thesis at the end, probably 5 to 7 body paragraphs organized in a logical way. And one reminder about body paragraphs from Essay 1 is that it's important to learn that each body paragraph is only one specific point. Often people have body paragraphs where your topic is too broad. You need to cut the cake into thin slices. Okay. Lots of quotes in detail from Between the World and Me. And at least 1 body paragraph using an outside source, something other than the book. So you might remember the research starter kit, and we've had assignments where you're working on that. So you'll have at least 1 outside source that you're going to use in your rough draft, plus the book. And then finally, last thing on the list, is you must have in-text citations for both quotes and your outside sources. And you do not have to have a works cited page for the rough draft, but you will have to have one for the final draft. So you can make your works cited page now if you want and put it in there, but you don't have to. But you must cite during the essay. And so I want to show you some examples. All right, first, a reminder about MLA Format. So remember Jed's essay. So your essay will look kind of like this. Notice it's double-spaced. And now, sample in-text citations for Essay 2. So an in-text citation, of course, means you're citing during the essay. So these are your citations during the essay, and we've been doing this all semester. So you basically know how to do this. So here's a couple examples. For Between the World and Me, Coates explains that blah, 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 Coates 78. So here a reminder that you have to do a citation not just for quotes, but for anything from the book. If it came from page 78, you have to cite page 78, even if it's not a quotation. And then Coates writes. So it's a good idea to have a lead in before your quote, and then there's your citation. All right. How to introduce and cite outside sources. So this is a big deal for Essay 2. Essay 2 is a research paper. In the final draft, you're going to have several outside sources. In the rough draft, you have to have at least one. And if you have more than one outside source, that's great. Okay, so here's some samples for you about how to introduce a source and cite it during your essay. So first thing is, you're going to tell your reader what your source is. Always tell your reader where the information is from. Examples. According to an article from the website Black Past, Howard University was founded, blah, 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 blah. And I have the author's last name of that article in parentheses. Next example. In a 2009 New Yorker article, Claudia Pierpont tells us that Baldwin, blah, 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 blah. And then the author's last name in parentheses. Next example. Racialized real estate covenants are explained by Julian Aguiman, professor of urban and environmental policy and planning at Tufts University. And then notice my little colon here, which is a good trick to learn to lead into a quote. Here's the quote, and then the author's last name in parentheses. So, your question right now is, why don't you have the page number in there? When there is a page number, you always give it. But these are articles from the internet. They're from websites. Websites don't have page numbers. So when there is no page number, you don't have to put it in there. So that's why these citations just have the author's last name and no page number, because there is no page number on a website. Okay? So, the lesson again is always give a citation for all the information you give, the author's last name in parentheses. And in your sentence, tell your reader about your source of information. Okay? That's all I've got for you for now. Thanks.